The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of NAL Now, nearing the title game. It's a special edition of NAL Now, as we will run throughout the entire week talking NAL, the first ever NAL season. I'm your host, Stephen R. I'm going to jump right into it because we have a guest. We have Undra. I don't know how to say it. I will ask him when we come back from commercial. Running back of the Country Grizzlies will join us in about 10 minutes. So let's get right to it. The Jacksonville Sharks will face the Columbus Lions in the NAL Title Game. Comes as a complete surprise to me, and comes to a little bit of surprise, a little less of a surprise to other people. Because I had expected the Sharks and the Lehigh Valley Steelhawks would be playing in the NAL Title Game. Unfortunately for others, that is not the case. The Lions showed what a great team they are. Beating the Lehigh Valley Steelhawks in the semifinal to reach the title game, overcoming a 22-point deficit. But that's a later topic. For now, we talk about the Sharks and the Lions. They're in the NAL Title Game, and we talk about what has changed. You know, they haven't played in quite some time now. They only had 2 meetings this year, one in Columbus, one in Jacksonville. And the Sharks won both games. Since that game, though, since their last meeting, a lot has changed for both teams. For the Sharks, well, Mark Stout was fired. The Sharks were 8-0. They're on top of the NAL world, just like everybody expected. They're going to win it all. And they fired their coach, Mark Stout. Everyone was like, why are they firing Mark Stout? It makes no sense. It just doesn't make sense. Why are they firing? The rumor was that Mark Stout had abused his players mentally, physically, whatever it may be. I don't know that to be true. Nobody really knows that to be true. That's just what I heard. And that's what I talked about a few weeks ago on the NAL Now. About how it was. But either way, the Sharks are pretty dumb in firing their coach. Because they have not been the same team since then. They played terrible football. Not terrible. They've just been a much different team. They have not been the same team. They have not been as good since then. And meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, the Columbus Lions have been the best team. They've been the best team. They have won 7 in a row now. They are winners of 7 games in a row. The last Lions loss was to the Sharks. And even then, they kept it close with the Sharks. They kept it close. They did. They kept it very close. They led the Sharks at the end of 1, the first team to do that this season. They held the Sharks to, I don't remember what exactly it was, but they had a lot of firsts for the Sharks. They had them trailing at the end of the first quarter. I believe they rushed for 100 yards, which is something no team had done against the Sharks. Up until the Lions had done it in their last meeting. And then things have changed for the Lions as well. They got rid of their coach. Not rid of their coach, they benched their quarterback. After week 1, even before week 1 was over, they benched quarterback Mason Espinoza. Espinoza played very bad. He played very awful. Week 1, on March 17th, against the Sharks, in their first game, the first meeting ever. The Sharks just dominated Mason Espinoza, and he wanted to get benched for Darren Daniel. The Sharks still went up to dominate, but since then, Darren Daniel went on to show that he is a great quarterback. He's a very good quarterback. I once talked about him being up for MVP. He was that good. He was so good, I was like, what if Darren Daniel played as well? So well the rest of the way, he can be MVP. Unfortunately, since then, it's not been that way. He has been benched. I don't know why he's been benched, but he's been benched for Mason Espinoza. And with Daniel, with Espinoza, with Kyle Griswold leading the league with 10 interceptions, 4 of which have returned for touchdowns, the Lions have won 7 games in a row. So now the question is there a chance that the Lions can really beat the Sharks? Sure. There's a chance. It's not a runaway. It's not like the Sharks are playing the Corpus Christi Rage in this game, who are no longer a team. They have folded after our 2009 season. They are rumored to be getting back into the league, but they have to get league approval. So we'll see what happens with that in the off season. Make sure to tune into Inside the Arena and InsideTheArena.org for all NAL offseason news. It's going to be a good offseason. I'm excited to see what happens. So the Lions, like I said, Lions showed they are very good. They are a very good team. They showed that beating the Lehigh Valley Steelhawks in Allentown, something that no team had done all year. All that they overcame the 22-point deficit. They beat the Steelhawks in a playoff game, and they showed that they mean business. And not only did that show something about the Lions, to me, that says something about the league itself. Even the big dogs, most of these smaller leagues, you think, oh, it's one team and everybody's there, nobody else is competition for this team. It's not the case with the NAL. The Lions prove that. The Steelhawks looked unstoppable. Their offense looked unstoppable. And what did the Lions do? Well, they stopped the Lehigh Valley Steelhawk offense. Something no team had done all year except the Sharks. So, the NAL is something serious. This is not the Can-Am Indoor Football League, whatever. This is not the Arena Pro Football League where it's just the Richmond Rough Riders and everybody else. It's not that. This is something completely different. 100% different. This is a league of its own. This is the next Arena Football League. Like they're showing promise of being the next Arena Football League. They're showing promise that they're going to do great things. And I'm looking very much forward to what the future holds for the National Arena League. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be a very interesting game too. Like I said, the Lions have kept close with Jacksonville, especially in their last meeting. Very close. It's going to be very interesting to see how that game plays out. That game is next Monday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm hoping it's on YouTube. I have not seen anything about it being on YouTube. But for the sake of the fans that are able to attend, people that want to watch this game, like me, I really hope it's on YouTube. I really do. And I really feel it's going to be a great game. But coming up next, though, here on NAL Now, we're going to bring on High Country Grizzlies running back Undra Hendrix. Or Undra. I'm going to figure that out. We're going to get it straightened during the commercial break. NAL Now, we'll be right back.
Hello to all you Arena League football fans out there. I want to personally welcome you to join us, AFL Fan Zone, every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for a weekly recap of all things AFL. You got stuff to do on the weekends, which means you probably don't have time to sit down and watch every single game every week. That's where AFL Fan Zone comes in. Not only do we break down the week, but we provide you with everything you need to stay up to date with the AFL, including Players of the Week, Power Rankings, and the weekly standings. Best part is, the recap is fully interactive between the viewers and the host. Just search AFL Fan Zone on YouTube and you can find all of our archived videos, including game previews, recaps, and weekly updates. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and at our website at www.aflfanzone.com. AFL Fan Zone, your internet home for the best AFL fans.
Hi, I'm Donovan James, and welcome to the Don James High School Football Report, everybody, where we discuss and debate the hottest prep and college football recruiting topics in the country every week. Only here on NGSC Sports, 9:30 Eastern. For more, follow me on Twitter at Don James Sports.
It's game time, boys, and we know football. Football to the Max is the podcast for you if you want in-depth analysis over the NFL and college football. We preview all the action coming your way over the weekend. And we break down all the big action after it's happened. Plus, we tackle all the big news topics and discuss everything when it comes to the gridiron. So come check out Football to the Max every Tuesday morning and Friday morning on the W2M network.
Are you an arena football fan looking for the latest news involving your team? Inside the Arena has you covered. Check us out for the latest news around both the Arena Football League and the Chinese Arena Football League. Read all of our stellar articles at InsideTheArena.org. Also, follow us on Twitter at Inside_Arena and like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/InsideTheArena.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to NAL Now, nearing the NAL Title Game. I'm your host, Stephen Herr. Now joining us is High Country Grizzlies running back. I don't know if I'm probably saying this wrong. Correct me. Is it Undra Hendrix or Undra Hendrix?
Undra Hendrix.
Andre, okay. Well, anyway, how are you doing tonight, Mr. Hendrix?
I'm doing good, man. Just enjoying this lovely day. You know, wishing I was in the championship, getting ready for a game this week.
I can't blame you, but I want to start. Obviously, we got to talk about the Grizzlies. You play with this expansion franchise, and over the first couple of weeks, I was very impressed. I was very impressed on how they played. So how did you guys go from being like? How did your success start so early as an expansion franchise? How do you feel everything was so successful?
Well, I mean, we had an experienced quarterback. We had an experienced quarterback in Steven Panasock. Give me 1 second, please. We had a experienced quarterback in Steven Panasock. You know, he played in the AFL, won a championship with the Wichita Force last year. So it kind of started with him. And then a lot of people don't know up front, you know, we had experienced guys at the offensive line. Ken Van Huel, he played with Steven at Wichita last year, won a championship as well. Jerry Spain, he played in with the old Richmond, I believe they were the Richmond Raiders. He played with them. And so we were kind of really up front with the quarterback. We were kind of experienced, so we were kind of leaning on that at the beginning of the year. And then towards the middle of the season, we kind of got dealt with injuries and all the other things that come with arena football that happens.
Now, obviously, this is their first year, and you started out so well, and then it just sort of fell. I don't want to say fell apart, but it sort of didn't work out at the end. And you say it's because of injuries. So I just want to ask, what are your future plans? Are you going to remain with the Grizzlies? Are you going to look for another team, another league?
Man, the goal is to try to get a look at the NFL or CFL. I'll be 27 in December, so my window trying to make that realistically is closing. So I'm definitely exploring all options this year. I'm trying to win a championship. There's a lot of different teams that has already said they're interested in me. I can't really say who, but I feel like if I have the opportunity to go there next year, I could.
You can stand up first. Come on.
So you saying that you have a few teams from the NFL insured in you?
If a team from the NFL calls, I'm definitely gonna go. But but right now, I really ain't got no interest from no other teams right now. Obviously, because they're still going through their process with their draftees and undrafted guys. But it's a lot of different guys. Joe Powell played with the Lehigh Steelhawks about 2 years ago. He's in the NFL with the Bills. It's all about being patient and doing what I'm supposed to do. I feel like I'm one of the best fullbacks in this league, and as long as I keep improving every year, the sky's the limit for me.
That makes sense. Now, obviously, Stephen Panasuk did not finish the season as the team's starting quarterback. Can you tell us what happened there, or is that something you'd rather not discuss?
I mean, it's a professional business, and it was. I mean, like you said, we started out hot, but towards the end, I will say it was a lot of dysfunction in the group, and obviously, when you have a lot of dysfunction in certain areas for your organization, that affects the players and that affects the play. And we had other things outside of football that affected us on the field. And as an athlete, as a football player, you can't really allow those distractions to come on the field. And we allowed those distractions to come on the field. And the last 3 weeks, we had a different quarterback. You had Steven, then you had Dennis Harvilla, and then we had Reed Gerchick finish the season. So you're not going to win too many games when you're playing 3 different quarterbacks. So like I said, I can't say more because that's more of a personal issue with Steven and the organization. But all I'll say, it was a lot of dysfunction, a lot of he say, she say, different things that was going on towards the end of the season.
I understand where you're coming from. So I guess the last question now. The Sharks face the Lions in the NAL Title Game. Who do you have winning next Monday's game?
Ooh, that's a close one. This will be a third time they played, and Columbus has gotten better and better every time.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, since Grady's not playing, that makes the level field more even. But I mean, for Columbus to win the game, they have to stop Derrick Ross, and I really haven't seen too many teams be able to stop him all year. So on paper, you say Jacksonville Sharks, but I'm gonna flip the switch and I'm gonna go with the upset. I'm gonna pick Columbus and I'm gonna say a shootout. I'm gonna say Columbus 55, Jacksonville 54. They win on a 2-point conversion.
Wow, that is clutch right there. That's gonna be, if that happens, that's gonna be an amazing game. I really hope it'll be on YouTube next Monday. I have not heard anything yet, but we'll see.
It's definitely it'll be on YouTube. That's what this league needs. We don't need a blowout.
Right.
we need a close game so that way next year it can the league can build on itself.
No doubt. Undra Hendrix. Pardon me if I said that wrong again. High Country Grizzlies fullback looking to get into the NFL. I want to thank you for joining NAL and NAL Now tonight, and best of luck for you in the future.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you.
You got it, bud.
Yeah, we go.
That was an interesting interview with, I know I'm saying it wrong, Undra Hendrix. But, you know what, we'll be back next. A little more talk on the NAL Now. NAL Now, we'll be right back. Wrap up the show.
Hello to all you Arena League football fans out there. I want to personally welcome you to join us, AFL Fan Zone, every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for a weekly recap of all things AFL. You got stuff to do on the weekends, which means you probably don't have time to sit down and watch every single game every week. That's where AFL Fan Zone comes in. Not only do we break down the week, but we provide you with everything you need to stay up to date with the AFL, including Players of the Week, Power Rankings, and the weekly standings. Best part is, the recap is fully interactive between the viewers and the host. Just search AFL Fan Zone on YouTube and you can find all of our archived videos, including game previews, recaps, and weekly updates. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and at our website at www.aflfanzone.com. AFL Fan Zone, your internet home for the best AFL fans.
Hi, I'm Donovan James, and welcome to the Don James High School Football Report, everybody, where we discuss and debate the hottest prep and college football recruiting topics in the country every week. Only here on NGSC Sports, 9:30 Eastern. For more, follow me on Twitter at Don James Sports.
It's game time, boys, and we know football. Football the Max is the podcast for you if you want in-depth analysis over the NFL and college football. We preview all the action coming your way over the weekend. And we break down all the big action after it's happened. Plus, we tackle all the big news topics and discuss everything when it comes to the gridiron. So come check out Football to the Max every Tuesday morning and Friday morning on the W2M network.
Are you an arena football fan looking for the latest news involving your team? Inside the Arena has you covered. Check us out for the latest news around both the Arena Football League and the Chinese Arena Football League. Read all of our stellar articles at InsideTheArena.org. Also, follow us on Twitter at Inside_Arena and like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/InsideTheArena.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to NAL Now, nearing the NAL Title Game. I'm your host, Steven R. Yeah, it was Undra Hendrix, running fullback of the Country Grizzlies. He's picking the Lions in an upset. If you want to hear my pick, you want to listen to the last episode of the season of NAL Now. I will make my pick right before the final show ends, and we will go from there. I will not make a pick until the end of the week. So, I want to go into this now. What if, let's say, Lehigh Valley did beat the Lions, because they should have beat the Lions. They had a 22-point lead. There was no reason for them not to win that game. They blew it away. Warren Smith Jr. on Facebook went on a rant right after the game, and he was mad about it. There's no reason for them to lose that game. There wasn't. But they did, and they are now sitting at home while the Lions will head to Jacksonville next Monday for the NAL title. Now, let's say the Steelhawks beat the Lions, and they would face the Sharks. Would Lehigh Valley have a better chance beating Jacksonville? Would they have a chance at all? Like I said with the Lions. Would the Lions have a chance beating the Sharks? Sure. Would the Steelhawks have a chance beating the Sharks? Oh, yes, absolutely. Like I said, the Steelhawks have a loaded team on offense, led by who I think will be MVP, Warren Smith Jr., quarterback. You have Darius Prince, Brendan Renford, Warren Oliver. You can't not beat the Sharks with that team. That team is stacked. And the one time the Sharks did play the Steelhawks this season, the Steelhawks showed that they were a force to be reckoned with. And they showed that before the semifinal as well. They had won 6 in a row before falling to the Lions after holding a 22-point lead. So yes, the Steelhawks had a great chance at beating the Sharks. There was no doubt that they could have beaten them. Lehigh's been the best team in the league since the Sharks fired Mark Stout. The Sharks were unbeatable with Mark Stout as their coach. And then they fired Mark Stout, and they weren't the best team anymore. Lehigh Valley was. The Lions are a great team. They have a long winning streak. That's great. But the Lions also started 2 quarterbacks in that time frame. They don't know who their quarterback is. I saw a guy in the NAL forum on Facebook post about how in the 2 games the Lions faced the Sharks, they didn't have a full-time quarterback. Because in the first game, Mason Espinosa got banned for Darren Daniel, and I guess I didn't watch this game. In their meeting in Jacksonville, Darren Daniel got banned for Mason Espinosa. So that's not a good look for the Lions. Just saying. You don't really know how the quarterback in this, whether it be Darren Daniel, whether it be Mason Espinosa, you don't know how they will fare against Jacksonville in the title game next week. If Warren Smith Jr. was playing in the NAL title game on Monday, that Sharks defense would have a very tough time trying to stop all the Seahawk weapons on offense. a very tough time. And it's not just Mark Stout, though. I've been blaming the thing on Mark Stout all show, pretty much. It's not just firing Mark Stout. Tommy Grady's gone. That hurts. Tommy Grady was a great quarterback in the AFL. The Sharks, when they were in the Arena Football League, they almost beat the Soul. And the Soul were so dominant on offense. And the Sharks had beaten them. And it almost beat them in the American Conference title game. Now with Damian Fleming running this team, that means nothing. It's nothing. Damian Fleming is not a great quarterback at all. None. He's just not. He's not a good quarterback at all. I hate to say it. And Sia Burley, their new head coach, he's literally driving the Sharks into the ground. He is. I mean, you saw if you're an AFL fan like me, if you're an Arena Football League journalist like I am, you saw that Sia Burley was the reason the Glad's offense was doing so bad. Had nothing to do with the team. I mean, you had Arvell Nelson at quarterback. You can't go wrong with Arvell Nelson as your quarterback. It was our offensive coordinators that were bringing them down. Because as soon as Sia Burley left, the Cleveland Gladiators are picking it up. And as soon as Sia Burley was the coach of the Jacksonville Sharks, the Sharks have not been picking it up. They just have not been doing well at all on offense since hiring Sia Burley. And obviously that has something to do with it. But that's not the only thing. Another thing, this is the last one of the show before we wrap it up for the night. The loss of Marvin Ross on defense, that hurts. That really hurts. That really hurts the Sharks' defense because he was the leader. Now that he's in the CFL doing his thing with the Canadians, he has the Sharks, I should say. They have no leader. They need a leader. And without Ross, they don't have one. And that's why the defense is not doing as well as they did with Ross. Ross led the team in interceptions, not the league. He led the team in interceptions. But now that he's gone, it's like nothing. And it's sad to watch that. It's sad to see that they're doing that like that. You would think they would realize, okay, our biggest defensive guy is gone. We now have to come together and make this work. But they haven't. And it's sad. I want to thank Undra Hendrix, fullback of the Country Grizzlies, for joining us here on NAL Now. I want to thank you all for listening, whether you're listening on WCMN.com, iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever producer Sean Garmer posts this podcast. Thank you for listening. And thank you, Sean, for producing this podcast and my other podcast here on WTMNet.com. Until tomorrow, this is Stephen Erner signing off. Good night.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.